I was looking for ghost Pokemons to make for this spooky season when I saw this. And I knew I have to make it. I'm starting off with some foil and covering that with Polymer clay. I've grown to like Cosclay quite a lot, so I'm using it for this project as well. I've said in previous videos that the medium one is too soft and I hate it, but turns out I was trolled by the store where I got the clay and it was never medium at all. It was the soft one. Then I added some more clay for his head, fixed up his body shape and added some ears. Then 4 chunky legs that get smoothed into the body. I lightly drew on where I want his mouth to be and removed some clay from under it. And removed some clay in a similar way to accent his eyes so they are not just drawn on. I realized later that I actually made the face a bit too flat, making it look a bit goofy. So now he reminds me of Toothless from the Dragon movie. But this guy actually does have teeth, even if it's only 2. I want the body markings to also be more noticeable, so I will do the same thing as with the eyes. Then he gets a nice pedicure and an isopropyl alcohol face mask, and he's ready to get baked. Normally Bulbasaur is greenish, but since this is the spooky version, he gets painted a dark purple, and then a lighter highlight. His markings also get a darker color change. Then some white for his teeth, nails, and eyes. Finally, his eyeballs get painted red, and I covered them with UV resin to make them nice and shiny. Now we can move on to his bulb, which in this case is a pumpkin. Starting off with making a flat basketball and going over each section to make it more plump. I thought about making a cute pumpkin, but it's not quite my style, so I ended up going with the classic spooky pumpkin. Using a foil ball, I'll add a bit of texture to make the pumpkin look a bit less fresh. And lightly draw on some lines as well. And of course, can't have a proper pumpkin without the little stem on top. I'll use a very thin wire and cover that with clay for the winds. Then add those winds to the pumpkin while making sure they fit nicely on the Bulbasaur. We also need some leaves, so I cut out a simple shape, added the middle vein, and drew on some smaller ones. I made a few of those in different sizes and added them to the vines. After baking, I'll paint the pumpkin in a base layer of dark orange and then go over it with a lighter highlight. I also added a few spots of a much brighter, more yellow highlight. And while my pumpkin is a senior, I didn't want to make it look too old and rotting, so I went with the basic colors. The leaves get a similar treatment, painted in a dark green and some lighter highlights. Then I added some yellow as well so they don't look so dead and boring. Lastly, I'll go over the whole thing with a black wash. To add the bulb to the Saur, I'm using 2-part epoxy glue. You could also just use super glue, but I hate it with a passion. He also needs a little base to stand on, so I'll make a round clay rock and cover that with 2 mini leaves. Even though this is the spooky ghost Bulbasaur, in his heart he is still a grass-type Pokemon, so I'll give him a nice lawn to enjoy. I'll cover the base with plastic wrap and press the Bulbasaur where I want him to stand later. And of course, go over it with isopropyl alcohol before baking it. After losing a bit more of what's left of my dwindling sanity, it's time to paint the base. This gets a darker green than the pumpkin leaves and a lighter dry brush to accent all the leaves. Finally, a black wash, and that's it. Thank you to my lovely patrons who keep supporting me even when I haven't posted a video in 2 months. I'm working on something super cool and big that's coming very soon. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!